Hi, everybody. Good evening. So today I would like to answer one of your questions with regards to hypothyroidism. I've asked you to let me know if there's anything you want me to talk about, and some of the messages that I got were about hypothyroidism. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. So the first of all, 15 million people in the US alone are estimated. So that's just an estimate. Have suffer from hypothyroidism but have not been diagnosed with it. The list of things that can be caused by hypothyroidism is long. It's a mile long, and it can affect everything in your life. The reason is quite simply this: the thyroid regulates every cell in our body, and it can. So let me just list some of the things that it can do to us. First of all, there is this tiredness. You're constantly tired. You're exhausted. You have no energy. You keep getting infections, so your immune system is down. You're struggling being regular, so it actually affects how you go to the toilet. There's a good chance that you'll have brain fog, so memory lapses in essence. It's cell health. It's hugely important for cell health, which can then lead to cancer, to the formation of cancer in your body. It's also very, very tightly linked to fertility issues. So a lot of women that I talk to actually have issues with fertility, and we immediately look at the thyroid, which isn't the case in classical medicine, by the way. It's also a major, controlling factor of your circulation. So your heart, anything to do with your heart health. You can also see hypothyroidism in nails, hair, your skin. So signs of premature aging, where your skin starts to sag, where you have brittle nails or horrible hair. And there's another thing, is weight gain. So you can be on any diet you want. If your thyroid doesn't want to play ball, there is no way you're going to lose weight. Then there's this the temperature sensitivity. So you constantly have cold hands and cold feet, and your body temperature is quite low. So you're always slightly chilly. There's mood swings. The classical PMS symptoms that you have that can actually come from the thyroid. Puffy eyes. So you wake up in the morning and you have these huge puffed up eyes and eyelids. That is another sign of hypothyroidism. Poor memory is another one, or a slightly swollen thyroid. Thyroid lives right here. It's like a little butterfly. That is that's another sign. And hoarseness. So, and you hear people go like this all the time. It's one of the telltale signs of an upset thyroid. So those are, just to give you an overview of the symptoms. Now, what these symptoms actually mean to you on a day-to-day basis goes probably a lot deeper. So it can affect the way you perform at work or at home as a mom or as a parent, and certainly at work, or the way you interact with other people when you have mood swings. So the thyroid is definitely something we want to really try and keep as much as we possibly can very healthy. And that's made very difficult by some of the environmental factors that I'll mention in a moment as well. So the issues that it can cause to you are profound. That's what I'm trying to say. First thing we need to do when we know that there is hypothyroidism is to detox. See, what happens is your thyroid isn't a very intelligent gland. It's like a Hoover. It's fed by iodine. It loves iodine. Most of us, well, majority of us really, are deficient in iodine, as in vitamin 3 and magnesium, the main three deficiencies nowadays. But the iodine, once your iodine level goes down, which is just incredible, with certainly in the Western world as opposed to Japan, the iodine that we consume is 1/100th of Japan. So when we're deficient, the thyroid goes looking elsewhere, and we're making this very easy for it because we're serving up bromine, fluoride, chlorine to it, which comes from the same family, of the halogen family. And the thyroid sees those and goes, "Ooh, I'll have some of those." And it'll absorb them. It just hoovers them up and sticks. And certainly bromine will want to, it doesn't like to be dislodged. It likes to stay there. And this is what really causes all the problems. So we need to get these out of our system, and we also need to change our diet. And I'll talk about that in a moment as well. And there's a protocol of actually detoxing your thyroid of the bromine and the fluoride and the chloride. So we know obviously that fluoride is in our toothpaste, it's in our water. Bromine is in our bread. We used to cook bread with iodine. Now we cook it with bromine. Big mistake. Chlorine is in our water, so we have to be really, really careful as to, you know, what kind of water we drink and ingest. Ideally, we'd have filtered water at home. Now, I know that's not realistic for everybody, but at least try and the water you drink, make sure it's not, it doesn't have chlorine or fluoride. That's really important to get back to having a healthy thyroid. Now, to dislodge, there are different protocols, as I said. One of the ones that sort of always sticks out to me is kelp and aloe vera, and it's a concoction, and that seems to work quite well. There are others, and you know, people use them, and it can be achieved. So, in terms of the diet, one of the things you need to do is come off sugar. Refined sugar is the worst thing we can do to our system, whether we have hypothyroidism or not. Flour is another offender, and salt. So with salt, it's either ionized salt or Himalayan salt, which is the much better option because it actually has minerals. You know, it's got something like 30 or 63 times more minerals in it than normal table salt. So it's really, really a better option to reduce your intake of salt, but then to go for the better quality salt that actually feeds your system. Another thing that happens when you have a hypothyroidism is because you have this low energy, you're tired. What do? You take a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or chocolate, and there's exactly the things you really don't want to do. The alcohol is another one that really should be out of your diet while you're trying to repair your thyroid. And then it's a case of building it back up. So we're trying to detox it, but what we need to do at the same time is make sure that we actually give the thyroid what it needs, and that is really healthy iodine. And that's usually with anything to do with seaweed. So that's a really good option. One thing I do want to say, there is a way of repairing your thyroid, even if you're a vegan. But you have to know what you're doing, because you can really make some huge mistakes there. Just as much as with the other diet, you know, a non-vegan diet is the same. It's just really knowing what you're doing. I've given you the highlights. I'm afraid I can't help you cure your hypothyroidism in a 10-minute video. But what I can do is just show you that there is a different path, and this is what I was hoping to achieve today. Now, you probably know that I run a program where I help people deal with these issues. I work with people who are determined to take control of their health, people who are in a position now to say, yes, I am actually going to take the steps to make a massive change in my health. I want my life back, and this is what I'm going to do. So if you've got any questions about the program, or if you've got any other questions with regards to what I've talked about in today about the thyroid, please IM me and let me know. There's one more thing though that I would like to add, and that is really important. Whatever disease we're looking at, and that is especially true with hypothyroidism and anything to do with hormone balance, is that there is always an emotional component attached to it. And the more you're open to dealing with that, the easier it will become to deal with any kind of disease. And this is so often overlooked. In fact, it's mostly ignored, pushed aside, not even acknowledged. That we go through life, we have this self-talk, we keep talking to ourselves. And what we talk about is actually the very issue that plagues us. And if we don't deal with it, it keeps coming up and it keeps feeding us negativity. So keep that in mind when you're looking at actually getting better and getting back your health. And from emotion is obviously is energy in motion. And talking about energy, there is something else that I would like to say, and that is exercise. Now, when you're tired, and this is the same actually when your adrenals are short, thyroid or adrenals is pretty much the same in terms of, when you have low energy, what you don't want to do is go to the gym and wear yourself out even more. You have to be really careful. There is an excellent exercise that I do almost daily, if not daily, and it's the rebounder. It's the trampoline. It's a superb booster for your lymphatic system, and that is so important when you're talking about cell health. And I've just said to you when I started talking about the thyroid is that the thyroid actually regulates every cell. So going on a trampoline for 10 minutes a day or something like that, start slow, and you will actually notice a difference. Okay? So I hope to see you around in the Facebook group frequently. Keep asking your questions. I love it when you get engaged, because that way I can understand what your issues are, what is keeping you up at night, and what your concerns are. And I think it's great that you are actually here for the simple reason that it means you are taking control of your health.